Hello there! And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing LEGO set number 7150, TIE Fighter and Y-Wing. The first minifigure of the set is Darth Vader. This original Darth Vader is really awesome. The cape on mine is a little bent, but whatever, that'll tend to happen with a 24-year-old minifigure. This guy's awesome. Yeah, he doesn't got any leg printing or back of the torso printing, but he's still really cool for 1999. He's, of course, got that really beautiful chrome lightsaber hilt. A little bit of the printing of the chrome is chipped off on mine, but that's just... Come on, focus. That's just beautiful. And then he's got a pretty simplistic torso print with some of the buttons and that light gray pattern. I'm not sure whether or not that's light gray or dark gray. Point is, he looks awesome. And then he's got that helmet that isn't used anymore, but is really, really good for the time. Look at that. And then he's, of course, got the light gray head print under there with some of the, like, little scars on the one side. And he's got, like, little marks under the eyes. And he's got his eyebrows, which is interesting because in the special editions, they actually removed Vader's eyebrows, which I think is one of the better special edition changes. Those things were like fuzzy caterpillars, so I'm kind of glad they got rid of them. But yeah, so this is a good minifigure. He's not exclusive to this set by any means, but he's still really cool. Similar figures to this being the 20th anniversary version, which has the torso print in the back, a light bluish gray head, and no chrome hilt. And then the light up Vader, which I'm pretty sure only came in one set. But yeah, this minifig's really cool. Now, let's look at the next one. The second minifigure of this set is R5-D4. Or, it's meant to be R5-D4. You see, this is basically just a color swap of the original R2-D2, who I do own the original R2-D2, but I don't feel like going to get him out of the bin. This is also a very good figure for 1999. He's got the white legs. I mean, you know what a Lego Astromech looks like, but this was revolutionary at the time. He's got that really cool head print with the silver on there that's obviously much higher up than the newer ones, so it does look a little silly, but still pretty cool. And then nice printing on the front of the body and not on the back. You can tilt it forward. You know how an Astromech works. This is basically just a color swapped R2-D2. It's basically just R2-D2, but take all the blue and replace it with red. And it looks nothing like R5-D4 does in the movie. If you don't know who that is off the top of your head, that's the droid that the Jawas had in A New Hope that Luke's Uncle Owen almost bought before it shorted out, and Uncle Owen then bought R2-D2 from the Jawas instead. Said droid also recently reappeared in The Mandalorian Season 3, and I think The Book of Boba Fett, but I could be wrong about that. Yeah, this is a good minifigure. I like it. He might be exclusive. Sorry, no, he's not. We'll get to that later on. I'll come back to that. He's not technically exclusive, and I feel like this headpiece may have been used to represent R4-P17 in the 2002 Attack of the Clones Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. And it's also used to represent R4-P17 in the Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga video game. So there's just some fun tidbits of trivia. Wow, I spent a lot of time on this one droid. Let's look at the next minifigure. The final minifigure of the set is John Dutch Vander, aka Gold Leader. I really like this figure. He's not really super remarkable. I mean, it's still a good figure. It doesn't have any leg printing or back of the torso printing, but while not exclusive, that front torso print is quite good for the time with the white and the black stripes and that kind of like shiny chocolate bar looking thing in the middle. I know that's not what it is. This torso print and very similar ones were used for other Rebel pilots. I think they even redid that same print but on red and green torsos for A and B wing pilots. The face is also nothing particularly remarkable. It's kind of just that head that I believe was also used for the Space Police 2 astronauts, if I'm not mistaken, with the little headset, earpiece, and then some red eyebrows printed hair, and then just the good old smiley face. But his helmet, that helmet is really good. I think they could get away with putting that on a minifigure nowadays, and it would still look really good. That's just awesome. Look at that. Like, the printing on that is insane for 1999. That's so cool. They really... I do also like the 2018 helmets, I'm sorry to say, but I like these helmets as well. Like, these are cool helmets, and the printing on this one in particular is just absolutely phenomenal for 1999. Yeah, not really much else to say about this figure. I just had to geek out about that helmet for a bit, because that thing is genuinely really awesome. But I think it's high time we look at the builds for the set. You know, what most of the piece count is taken up by. I figured we'd look at the builds in the order they're mentioned in the name of the set. We have Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. And I love this thing. Remember, I judge things as they were when they came out. So, like, I'm not judging this next to sets coming out in 2023. I'm judging this in terms of the fact that it came out 24 years ago as of me filming this. And for something coming out in 1999, this thing is awesome. I love it. I am a little biased because I kind of prefer the original TIE Fighter color scheme of the black with blue highlights. I don't know what it is. I kind of just love the contrast of it. But those wings look really nice. You got the printed Imperial logos on there. You get 3 of them in the set, 1 on each wing and 1 on the top. The wings are just on click hinges. You can have it in 3 different positions. You can have it in this position. You can have them all the way in. And you can have them completely flat, which is probably the least accurate. But it does look kind of nice. I will say that. The just like kind of middle of the road is how you're supposed to have them, though. And there's also quite a bit of dark gray and light gray here. The ship is pretty easy to disassemble, like just that, and then that mirrored to the other side, and then this thing too that comes off pretty easily, and uses these big pieces that I didn't realize were still in production. Yeah, this is a pretty nice set. I like that the wings are detachable really easily. Like, honestly, most TIE fighters that I own, because a lot of the time in the movies, you'll see after they get hit, they kind of like spin around and the wings fly off. So this is a nice build. You got the little translucent red studs for like the lasers, so they can go pew, 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 pew. And the set is also very, what I like to call, swooshable. You can hold it and swoosh it around like I would often do as a child. Pew, pew, pew. And make whatever sound effects you want. And then, of course, there's the hatch that opens up at the top there. And you get a little control panel. And then you can just sit Vader down there. Let me get him. I'm going to take his cape off because I don't want it to get any more bent out of shape. So just going to take and reassemble Vader here. And then we'll put him in the TIE Fighter pretty easily. There's just 2 studs in there for him to sit on. Come on now. There we go. Well, let me straighten up his helmet a little. There we go. You can kind of see him in there. My ceiling fan light is reflecting a little, but you can kind of see Vader in there. Then you can have him chasing down Luke in the trench saying, "I have you now." Pew! Yeah, this is a really cool build. I love this thing, if you couldn't tell. Again, I'm probably a little biased because of the blue color scheme, but it is really cool. So now, let's look at the second build of the set, the Y-Wing. Y-Wing, because I said so wing. This thing is really nice. Again, very nice build for 1999. Probably doesn't stack up when put next to more modern sets, but this looks really good for the parts they had at the time. You gotta remember all the fancy, like, curved slopes and things that we have now. A lot of those didn't come about till like 2002, 2003, so you see a lot of them on the Attack of the Clones sets. But this is I mean, you see that, and yep, that's a Y-wing. You can tell that this is a Y-wing, and it's really nice. You got the big, like, I'm not quite sure what these things are. Are they engines? Oopsie, that was the camera. Those can be very easily removed. It uses these big Technic things. I remember I found one of these in a thing of bulk brick, and I didn't realize it was real Lego at first. And then these really cool pieces from Insectoids that look like the normal common dome piece, but they're like multifaceted. And because of that, these ones look like half of a golf ball, and that's fun. You got pretty simple landing gear on the bottom, just those black, what would you call it? It kind of looks like a table almost. I know they use those for a table, and I think like the Lego City pizza van. There's a lot of red on this, which I really like. I don't think it's particularly accurate to have all that red, but I do quite like the look of it. You have this thing that spins around. These little thingy. Are these guns? What are they? What do they do? I've not really paid attention to Y-wings in action in a while, but I really like this nice angle here. You have the nice printed windshield there. Also quite good looking for the time. And there's just some little stick shift type of things. We can take Gold Leader here and put him in the... Oh, hold on a minute before I do that. There's also that really nice little printed like computer thing in there with those lines almost making it look slightly like a Virtual Boy screen. But we can take him and put him in the driver's seat and put that back down. It does kind of look like he's just laying there, but still cool. And then you can take and put R5, couldn't remember his name for a minute, and you can put him in the droid area there, which looks pretty nice. One design flaw I realized is that I could see that being a problem, but since these don't actually shoot anything, we can ignore it. Not quite sure what these are for either. They're neat though. And then we have these really cool little printed pieces there, which weren't used in too many sets, I don't think. The little tan 2x2 with the Rebel logos and the little circuitry and stuff. And what's cool is that this thing actually flips up, and if Gold Leader had any accessories, you could put him in there, but he doesn't have any. It is cool to have storage space though, even if it's not being used. And then probably the last pretty neat play feature on this is you can move these things, and there's this really cool little box. Again, there's nothing in it, but look at that. That's awesome. Got the Rebel logo and the like little red dot and whatever those are. It's cool. Like, it's really cool. I like it. And that's also not a particularly common print. The only other set I can think of that I'm pretty sure had it when I looked on Bricklink was, I believe, the original Falcon. But yeah, this is really cool. Also, oopsie. Also, I might add, very swooshable. This kind of flops about, but pew, 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 pew. And then, of course, with the 2 ships in one set, if you got kids, you can buy this, and then Jimmy can fly the Y-Wing around, and Tommy can fly the TIE Fighter around, and they can fly them around together and have all kinds of fun. This is a really cool set. I like it a lot. I'm sure you can tell from my just general excitement in this video, but I love this thing. I love this set so much. It's really cool. But before I say the same thing different ways 5 more times, let's look at the box. I pretty clearly got this used, as you can see by the decent amount of damage and creasing on the box. I don't really care. For the price I got this thing at, I don't really care. I paid $110 for this. It's used, it's complete. I didn't have to replace anything. There were actually even a couple extra pieces with it. I got it from that secondhand Lego store I've mentioned quite a few times, the Brickhouse Resellers. I love the classic Star Wars box design so much. I love that we still got the Lego system thing there. I think 2000 was when they got rid of that, 2000 or 2001. I absolutely adore the original Lego Star Wars logo with Boba and the Stormtrooper and Vader, and then Luke, Leia, Han, and R2, all with the classic yellow faces, and that like kind of shiny-ish font there and here, and with the set number and the age group down there. I just love it. Only 407 pieces with this, so if you're a price per piece person, me paying $110 for this is not great. I forgot to look up the original retail price, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but since this came out almost 25 years ago, I'm gonna venture a guess that it was probably like 70 or 80 bucks, which is pretty good considering we've gotten recent things similar to this, being the Ahsoka one that's coming out in just a couple days as of me filming this, that's got the blue and white thing, and then the dark red and bright light orange thing. I think the blue and white one was an E-Wing. And then that one from the Mandalorian with the Mandalorian ship and the TIE Interceptor. Whew, but that's not what this video is about. That's the set number. That's the piece count and the age group. I also love that. That's pretty cool. There's a bit of a crease there, but I like that. And then there's the set name with Vader down here, which doesn't really make sense logically that Vader's just kind of standing in the Death Star trench and is also there in his ship because you can see the circuitry printing on his torso, which is pretty funny now that I notice it. And there's, of course, some green laser beams, some fire, I assume, there. And then you can see the Death Star trench in the background. It's pretty cool. And then up here, there's just, galaxy. Though, I can get it pretty close to the camera, so I wouldn't say that galaxy is far, far away. I'll see myself out. Star Wars logo up there. Join the Lego Cub. Join the Lego Club. Free! Application inside. Not when I bought it. And then includes instructions for main model. Oh my god. They don't put that on there anymore. And you got this nice image on the side, which looks pretty cool. And that middle one kind of just looks like John R5 and Vader just kind of hanging out together. So that's pretty fun. Shows the ships kind of taken apart, and then it shows some of the alt builds, which we will look at more when we look at the manual, but that's pretty cool. More pictures on the side here, all kinds of warnings. Shows picture there. Join the official Star Wars fan club. Only $19.95 for a 6-issue subscription, plus a free membership kit. Send check or money order to P.O. Box. I'm not reading that. I'm pretty sure that's probably doesn't work anymore. There's a security tag. Where's $19.99? It said it on there somewhere. Did it? I guess it doesn't say 19. Oh yeah, it does. It's just covered by the security tag. Okay. I spent a lot of the time looking at that box. Let's look at the manual now. It's massive. Look at it. This is the manual. It's very big. On the back, it shows the alt builds more. And then, does it go? Oh, yeah. Here we go. It's got the date on the manual here. 1999, the Lego group. And then what's cool is, let me move Vader's cape and lightsaber out of the way. After the instructions, which I love that in these older Star Wars manuals, we got little snapshots from the films up there. That's really cool. And I also love just the style of these old ones with that lovely shade of blue and the border. I need to stop or else I'm going to be talking about this all day. We've got this adorable little comic strip here of them flying. Then the Y-Wing goes into that crater and it shows him, crash. Shows Vader, bunch of pieces falling. There he is, Vader's kind of caged up, and then it shows a bird in a cage with Vader's helmet. Vader's thinking of a storm cloud with lightning, then he uses the Force to build pieces. And then we have this monstrosity. Then he looks really surprised. Crush! Shows Vader with his lightsaber. Vader's building a new lightsaber with pieces. That's another alt build right there. He's thinking of the door. Then he gets an idea because he sees a hole in the wall. Then he makes a platform. Another alt build. Then it shows him going up. And then it shows him building more. Now we can see those three. I'm not going to try and build them, but it shows those three alt builds on the back here. That battering ram is what it is now that I'm looking at it more. like battering ram type of thing. That's pretty funny looking. There's shows more pictures of that. A lightsaber, which is actually genuinely the coolest one. And at some point, I'm gonna try and find instructions for that so that I can like build it perfectly, because that is so cool. And a tiny little platform. Lovely. And then the final page shows Vader making a little scorpion car looking thing, or maybe a tow truck. Then Vader thinks of a storm cloud. Then it shows him building a tiny ship. And then it shows these two fighting in Vader's tiny ship and Gold Leader's little scorpion car. And it shows a close-up on his face. Crash! Vader face planted into the ground. Vader still face planted into the ground, and it looks like this guy's using the Force. Then it shows this ship, which then flies away, and he's all happy, and he makes a really stupid-looking face that I love. Then Vader says, "Peekaboo," and you see a little hand. Then it shows that little scorpion car-looking thing, the ship, and the bigger ship. I love this so much. I was not expecting to see this when I bought the set. This is one of the most delightful things I have ever looked through in a LEGO manual. I love this so much, especially that really dumb face. Just the illustrations on it and everything. I just really like it a lot. And then it shows some of the alt builds again. That was delightful. You can't tell me that little comic wasn't really funny and silly. I really liked that. That was fun. But that's about it for the manual. So now let's give the set its number score from 1 to 10. Before I get into that, I just quick wanted to show this is the droid that the one in this set is meant to represent. There he is up there. Yeah, that's much more accurate. I'm going to put this off to the side. But as you could probably tell, because I bluntly said it several times, I absolutely adore this set. I did pay a lot for it, but I still think I got a pretty decent deal on it. This is just a fantastic set, and it's what I would call conflict in a box. Like I said, you got two young kids, pick up something like this. One kid gets the good guy ship, other kid gets the bad guy ship, and then you can have fun. Now, I do have a sibling. She's quite a bit younger than me, so I don't really play with my things much anymore, aside from demonstrating them to you guys in these videos. But I feel like if I did have a sibling closer to my age, or if I was younger and still played with toys, then I would have had a blast with this. Even if I did have this as a kid, I'm sure I would have had fun just by myself, because I mean, I got two hands. Can't really be said for Vader or many of the other Skywalkers, but this is just a great set. I am going to give it a very, very strong 9 out of 10. It is taking me a lot of restraint not to give it a 10. Maybe they could have included one more figure, but I would hardly even call that a complaint. This thing is just great. I adore this set so much. And what I mentioned before of none of these characters being technically exclusive, I think this might have been the only set to have Vader in the first wave, but I could be wrong. So this set is 7150, came out in 1999. They re-released it practically unchanged in 2002, but under the set number 7152. So you may be thinking, oh man, I loved this set as a kid, but I don't think it came out in 1999. I remember getting that for Christmas in 2002 with my PS2. And you'd be right, because this set and 7152 are practically the same thing. And there was another one called 7262 that was actually much more of a proper remake. The Y-Wing didn't really look changed much, but they switched over to the bluish grays because it was in 2004. I believe it was also a Toys R Us exclusive. The TIE Fighter was changed quite a bit. I think it was closer to a remake than a re-release, but it was still not changed by a whole lot. Think the 2015 versus 2020 versions of the Death Star Throne Room Battle, or whatever that set was called. They're basically really similar, but different in some aspects. But, yeah. I give this set a very high 9 out of 10. Sorry if I kind of droned on in this video, but I really adore this set and this era of LEGO in general, where it was like, you know, we weren't quite into the 21st century yet. I really love that, just like, you know, 90s into the... Well, yeah, I love the 80s and 90s era of LEGO so much. Don't get me wrong, I love the stuff we get now, but my god, it gets pricey sometimes. And also, they tend to be really complicated. I like nice, sleek, complicated builds, but there's just a certain charm to these older, blockier models that I really, really love. I also wanted to give you guys a longer video because I think I mentioned in another video we're going to Legoland for my birthday, so I'm probably going to review like something really small that week. So I wanted to give you guys some big reviews to make up for that. But yeah, give this set a very strong 9 out of 10, bordering on 10. You know what? Let's say 9.5. 9.5 out of 10. That's what I give this set. But if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. That's about all that I have for now. Goodbye!